In North London, 4 ambulances belonging to a Jewish community organization burn in a parking lot. Halfway across the world, party supply stores run out of helium balloons. Meanwhile, major electronics manufacturers are suddenly struggling to source microscopic computer chips. At first glance, these global disruptions seem entirely random, but they all trace back to the exact same source: ballistic missile strikes and the escalating military tension in the Middle East. Most coverage frames the ongoing conflict between Iran, Israel, and the United States in conventional terms. We picture jets scrambling, interceptors firing, and tanks holding physical territory. The United States Department of State recently issued a worldwide caution alert, signaling a harsh reality. Unable to match the sheer military hardware of the U.S. and its allies, Iran has pivoted. They are executing an asymmetric strategy, entirely bypassing traditional battlefields. Physical borders no longer contain the fighting. The primary targets are now the fragile, highly interconnected systems that keep Western society functioning. Consider the recent drone attacks on Qatar's Ras Laffan facility. It is the world's largest liquid natural gas plant, and the strikes caused massive, extensive damage to its industrial infrastructure. This flowchart shows raw natural gas extraction splitting into 2 distinct streams. The primary pipeline delivers standard energy, like the gas used for cooking and heating. But there is a smaller parallel extraction process isolating helium gas. By striking Ras Laffan, the attackers instantly cut global helium exports by 14%. Helium is an absolute necessity for modern manufacturing. When fabricating the silicon wafers that make up computer microchips, the manufacturing environment must be perfectly controlled. Helium is used to rapidly cool the silicon during this highly sensitive process. Without it, chip production grinds to a halt. That single chemical bottleneck cascades across advanced industries. Space exploration programs require liquid helium to pressurize and clean rocket fuel tanks. In hospitals, those large MRI machines rely on hundreds of liters of liquid helium to keep their internal superconducting magnets cool enough to function. By successfully hitting one natural gas facility in the desert, an attacker can throttle the entire global technology sector. During a peak in tensions, Donald Trump issued a strict ultimatum to Iran regarding the Strait of Hormuz, the vital shipping lane for global oil. He warned that if the strait was closed, the U.S. would obliterate Iran's power and energy infrastructure. Iran countered with a specific asymmetric threat of its own. They bypassed standard military targets and promised to destroy the region's desalination plants. Desalination is the industrial process of removing salt from ocean water to create drinkable freshwater. This map shows the Persian Gulf and the extreme concentration of desalination plants along its coastlines. Because the surrounding landscape is almost entirely desert, countries like Saudi Arabia and the UAE are almost completely reliant on converting this ocean water to keep their populations alive. Watch what happens if those plants go offline. Without the daily intake of treated ocean water, municipal supply levels in major Gulf cities would plummet to zero in a matter of days, creating immediate catastrophic thirst in an arid environment. The deterrent strategy completely avoids trading tank fire. It targets the fundamental biological need for water. Iran has proven perfectly willing to aim at highly sensitive, catastrophic targets. Recently, they fired ballistic missiles carrying warheads weighing hundreds of kilograms at the southern Israeli city of Dimona, home to the country's main nuclear research center. Standard air defense interceptors were launched to protect the airspace. They failed. Multiple massive warheads made direct hits in the area. Following the strikes, U.S. federal alerts detailed intercepted, encrypted communications originating from Iran. These transmissions were analyzed as likely operational triggers meant to activate pre-positioned sleeper assets, individuals or small groups operating quietly outside the Middle East. Federal agencies link these signals directly to the threat of sudden, localized violence in Western cities. The arson attack that destroyed the Jewish community ambulances in London is exactly the kind of lone wolf terror incident these communications are designed to incite. There is a long, documented history of this exact tactic. In the late 1980s, Iranian leadership issued a fatwa, a formal religious decree calling for the death of author Salman Rushdie. Decades later, a lone attacker stabbed Rushdie multiple times at a public speaking event. In this phase of the conflict, physical location and personal politics offer zero protection. Holding a Western passport immediately puts a target on your back. United States leadership now faces a nearly impossible strategic trap. The adversary has essentially lined the global economy with tripwires. Any direct conventional military retaliation guarantees extreme collateral damage. A strike on Iranian soil could instantly trigger the destruction of technology supply chains, spark a regional water crisis in the Gulf, and activate domestic terror cells in major European and American cities. The immediate kinetic fighting, the direct exchanges of ballistic missiles and drone swarms, will eventually exhaust itself and come to a halt. The shooting always stops, but the ripples from these specific targets will last for decades, rebuilding specialized industrial infrastructure, restoring shattered energy markets, and securing civilian populations against sleeper networks requires years of capital and political will. We have watched a regional conflict successfully hold global supply chains and civilian populations hostage. The illusion that Western citizens and global markets are safely insulated from wars in the Middle East is permanently shattered.